Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a full run on this month's side event. I believe something that we're going to have to do pretty much daily. And I brought in Namor, Silver Surfer, Black Widow, Clairvoyant, Dr. Doom and Warlock. So I didn't kind of like select these champions specifically, just kind of picked some that I would find it fun playing with. Didn't pull any punches either, didn't bring any kind of like low ranked champions because this is the first time I'm jumping in it. I wanted to see how difficult it is or how manageable it is. I'm sure that eventually I'll upload another video where I'm running through with like 4 stars or rank 3 5 stars or something like that. But as the fights are going on, and obviously we're going to talk about the fights themselves as well, I just wanted to have a small conversation about this kind of like level of difficulty, what I make of it, about the complaints that I have heard, so on and so forth. And overall, still, like, I wish it wasn't a daily thing. I wish we wouldn't have to kind of like keep on top of it. But that being said, I have heard quite many people complaining about the difficulty, that it's too hard, it's not reasonable, it's not feasible. But there are kind of like several good things about it, because if the highest difficulty is too hard for you, you can always kind of like do the easier difficulty twice. For instance, instead of doing epic one, you can use those baskets to do the easier quests if you prefer, and that way you're still going to get your acorns, and you don't have to do every single one of these events in order to get to that million. There's going to be like a double of those acorns available. So if you are active, you should be able to acquire well in excess of that 1 million milestone. So I don't think there is any reason to panic if you do not feel that you can run through this quest every day fully for the rest of the month without it like being extremely expensive in terms of items. You can just do the easier ones, and you will still manage to get those million acorns. So I in fact do like that the difficulty is a bit more challenging, because again, I have a choice. If I don't want to be bothered with 100 fights, I can do the easier difficulties. And even if I skip some or don't finish some, then very important point is that you do get to keep all the acorns that you do acquire. So you will be missing out on a part of the reward, but any fight that you had finished up until that point where you feel that you're unable to carry on, you get to keep all of those acorns. So that is definitely important. And all in all, I do like this kind of structure, because in past, many people also have commented that they do struggle completing some of these days or some of these side event quests in like Modoc's labs, so on and so forth. So by letting you quit the quest and keep what you have gotten so far is a great kind of incentive for people just to go in, try and push themselves to see how far they can go. And I think these type of events are great for summoner growth in general, because this gives you kind of like no reason not to try harder difficulties that you normally would. Like if you typically do these difficulties in heroic and master and you try to stay away from epic, then for this event it might be worth to jump in epic, whilst knowing you still will be able to make that million acorn milestone, whilst knowing that this will not be a time wasted, and any acorns you acquire, you will get to keep. So I think it's quite a refreshing, I would say, monthly side event. It definitely has its flaws and all that, but all in all, I think it's a quite big improvement on what we get to see normally. So once again, I kind of want to give some kudos to Kabam. I think there are many more interesting things that could be done, like making this quest infinite, and so that you possibly only have to get in it once, but well, there are many different ideas. Either way, I think overall I'm quite liking this month's side event, at least for now. So yeah, that's awesome, and I definitely know that I will have quite a lot of fun fights here. We're gonna have a chance to test out some champions, so that's not too bad either. Now then, I had some messages from an employee of mine. he was stuck in traffic. But either way, back to the fighting. So here is going to be a funny moment now with Namor. As I'm launching my level 3, you will notice that after this level 3 animation, I do not get a Fury buff. And that is because of She-Hulk's awakened ability, because mutant champions lose their ability accuracy, like half of it, I believe, 50% or so, during the special attacks. So Namor did not get a Fury attack. So I found that quite an interesting twist of events, something that I had slightly forgotten about when it comes to She-Hulk, her awakened ability, and how it has different effects for each class champions. Now we're going to be using Namor against Korg, and obviously it's quite a nice matchup. Largely because Korg's bleed immune, so we can get those enraged charges quicker. Also because whenever we do take any damage back from Korg's abilities, obviously it's all reflected to Korg. And all in all, we don't have too much to worry about in this fight, and obviously we also have the class advantage. So I do successfully push him exactly to level 2, which kind of leaves me with plenty of room to work around. Now I did think which special should I go for, but I just kind of settled for level 3. And we're gonna get rid of those rock shield charges, gonna drop level 3 straight after. I will get my Fury buff for this, and then the fight is going to be over relatively soon after that. Now, some of these fights, and that is entirely my fault, and that is just me being kind of like lazy or careless, I didn't even actually read what nodes they have on, and sometimes it did kind of like make the fighting a bit more awkward or difficult. We can see that in Elza's Elza Bloodstone fight a bit later on, and also in Night Thrasher fight, where I technically kind of opened the node screen, but I didn't process the information, and I kind of completely ignored what nodes Nightcrawler had on. But here against Sentinel, we're going to take in Silver Surfer, and unfortunately it's not going to be the best fight. Now there I wanted to drop my level 1, but he activated his own level 1, and that kind of like pushed the timing away, and I lost my power gain buff, and that fight was basically far from perfect. But eventually I do drop my level 1, get those Fury buffs up, and we are basically ready to deal some serious damage. But yeah, it was a sloppy start of the fight, if I may say so, but hey, that is kind of like the type of stuff that you can expect with Silver Surfer, I guess. And here I was like almost gonna make another mistake, but luckily I kind of like managed to change it level 2 in time, because it did not have enough buffs to be unblockable, but we landed it the good old-fashioned way, I suppose. And now we have this Nightcrawler, so we can see that I did open that ability screen, but I didn't really stick around there to read anything. And I'm gonna go for Parry Heavy here, which is inevitably gonna fail because of rapid metabolism and his ability to shrug off those stuns much quicker. So in this fight, I basically was left with no other option than to try and switch him. And as soon as we do, it will take us a couple of attempts, but we are successful. So here it is. And as soon as we switch him, we can start doing some serious damage and play much more aggressively. So obviously spamming heavy attacks is fairly fruitless effort here, because those bleeds get shrugged out so quickly. Also, level attacks do not generate close to enough damage because of their rapid metabolism. You do definitely feel that you're not hitting nowhere near as hard as you normally would with those level 2s, because armor breaks just expire too quickly and they do not stay on for like the biggest punches of the level 2. But that being said, we still have class advantage and we're still chipping away at this guy fairly successfully. Don't have too much to worry about. Obviously still have to bait out the special attacks, punish them, but Nightcrawler is one of those guys. If you manage to switch him, it's a really basic, simple fight. There are no projectile special attacks, there's no evade, no other kind of like finicky things to deal with. He basically becomes your vanilla opponent. Might as well be fighting Iron Fist or something. And yeah, so this fight's nearly over. And then I believe next one is the Elza Bloodstone fight. Yes. And this fight, I did forget to read the notes, and this fight it's also going to cost. Now, if I had paid a bit more attention to the fight, I probably could have noticed some suspicious activity and could have deduced what node she has, because she periodically started activating those Fury buffs, right? But there's just the one Fury, and now it's 2 Furies, 3 Furies, 3 Furies, nothing kind of like special. There might be something. What node it is? It's obviously Rage node, and I will kind of forget the moment where she goes to the 5 Furies. I did not it didn't stick to my head that she has Rage active. And with that, I'm gonna get wrecked very soon because I tried to parry while she was unblockable. So that was the one mistake that we made exploring it, but that did open a really kind of fun option for us to finish this fight out. And because it's Rage Node, and because Doom's heavy attack, even if it doesn't crit, hit hard enough for it to trigger that Fury, means that a slapstick method that we used in Resistor Cheese video works here perfectly well as well. So basically we can just spend the entire fight here slapping Elsa Bloodstone in the corner, taking away 2.5% of her health with each slap and destroy her without a worry. That is how the backhands should work. And now we have the last fight. Now the last fight is Domino, and don't even remember exactly what node she had on, but there's Bubble Shield, there's some other stuff, but it's not, oh, it's Oscillate. Yeah, that's right, I hate Oscillate. But either way, we're using Warlock, we're playing it kind of like steady, dropping a bunch of heavy attacks. I know she has a chance to shrug off those bleeds, but when she doesn't, it works out quite well. And it deals decent amount of damage and makes the fight kind of like a lot easier and a lot more controlled, because you are much less susceptible to that evade when she goes lucky. Obviously, since Warlock is a tech champion, he will never go unlucky. I do have to pay attention to the Bubble Shield when she's gonna go unblockable. Here I kind of cheekily parried that first bit of level 1 on purpose to make sure that the second hit of level 1 is the unblockable hit and we can kind of ignore the Bubble Shield. But slowly and surely we are chipping away at the Domino. We're about to drop our level 2 there, and not much to kind of like stress about. We did nearly get caught by evade, but we did manage to evade out of that. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this quest. It's not the hardest. I mean, it's definitely not an easy quest, don't get me wrong. If you don't have highly ranked champions, I can see how people would and could and will struggle with this. At the same time, if you have a ranked up roster, it's nothing kind of like insanely difficult to do. But again, do remember that you can do either easier difficulties, and that means you will be able to do more of these quests, therefore probably end up with a similar amount of acorns. Or you can simply try and push yourself and have a bit of fun, don't stress about revives, and simply keep all the acorns you have accumulated along the way without having to finish the quest. But yeah, that will do for today. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, I'll see you guys soon. Later.